Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Farming Simulator 19, and welcome back to the Holzer map. Man, it's going to be an episode today. You know what, before we get started, before we do anything at all, let me really sincerely thank you for stopping back to check out the channel. I know there's a lot of channels on YouTube, it's a massive platform, and I am just blown away that anybody would take the time to come and watch a video that I made. I see the channel growing, and there's some metrics that are really indicative of what you are doing as an audience as far as the time you're spending on the channel. I notice it, I really do appreciate it, and I will continue to make the very best videos that I can for you. You're awesome. Thanks for stopping back. Right, so we're on Holzer map. Why? Well, we'll get to that in time. But I wanted to, let me bring you up to speed, and I wanted to start in the dark because some of the things that we did look really good at night. So the first thing I did was I swapped out our silo for this silo, which is, the core of it is the same, but you can see the silos on the side are a little bit different. It's got some lighting on it. This is from the FED mod pack. And the only place that I've found to get these mods is in the NF Marsh map, NF Marsh, which is available on Mod Hoster. Now, it could be available somewhere else, but that's where I found it. I don't know how you feel about Mod Hoster, but if you want to go check it out, that's where it is. These mods come with the map. They're intended to be used with the map. I tried the map. It's a good map. It's just not my style. It's a very big, very flat, industrial German map. Like big industrial farming, big kit. A little big for my taste. I like big equipment, but this was a little too big. So, not going to play that map, but I am keeping the mods. So if you want to get some of these mods, that's where you can find them, is in the NF Marsh map, which is on Mod Hoster, among other places, I'm sure. So, yeah, we're starting in the dark because these are some of the things that I've pulled from those mods. This is a shed. I replaced our roll door shed with this one. It's got automatic lights inside it, no switch for the lights. I think these look great. And we'll be able to see it when we go topside, but they've got solar panels on the roof, which actually give you some passive income. We did buy, as you could see, we bought a combine harvester, a little tiny one. And I also swapped out this shed right over here. Same thing, we had a roll door shed, and I swapped this one out as well. Solar panel on the roof. Right over here, now we had here for the longest time, we had a buy point for slurry or digestate. And we have enough slurry from our dairy farm, our current dairy farm, and we have enough digestate from our little biogas plant over there. We didn't need to buy it anymore, but I thought this was another buy point. And of course it's German, so it's got a script in it, but I think based on this meter over here, I think what you do is you put liquid slurry or liquid digestate in here, you put solid manure in here, and then it creates something which it's calling, man, I don't speak German, which it's calling, right, Dunger? You see what I mean? So I think it could be we put that stuff in and we get fertilizer out of it, which is unfortunate because we don't have a fertilizer spreader. We've got a hard manure spreader, we've got a slurry and digestate sprayer. You know what I mean? I believe we may not use this thing a lot, but it looks good there. I like the lights on it. It's fantastic. And you may have seen in the distance, in the background there, I also got a solar farm. And I'll show you in the little meadow over on the other side. We had a little solar plaza, got rid of that, and I did some terrain sculpting. This thing is so big. Field 30 is literally the only place that I own that we could fit it. And we lost, I'd say, about a third of the volume of grass in this field. We will no longer be able to mow it. I mean, we can mow down in between here. And we'll get a lot of grass from this field. But we've also got this. And I think, if I saw this correctly, I think these solar panels on the two sheds and from that big plaza that we got, I think they only give passive income during daylight hours. And that, oh man, Germany, I love you. I love you and your attention to detail and the, you know what I'm saying? That would not, there we go. That would not surprise me at all if that mod was scripted, if those mods were scripted in a way that because they're solar panels, they only pay income when the sun is out. I love you, Germany. I really do. I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. I really do. Let's accelerate time briefly to get the sun up just a little bit so that we can see this a little bit more clearly when we go through the gap in the trees here. Moment. Using my godlike powers. We get this going right here. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And we'll slow it down again. We can turn this off. So you remember, we had this set up so we had all solar panels in this field here, and we had given it over. It was no longer grass, and it had a big hump right here, and we did not own this field, so we couldn't fix that hump. Well, I sold our solar panels in our plaza, as you can see, and replaced it with the other solar plaza across the way there, and I did buy this field so that we could fix this lane. I sculpted it. You can see it's not perfect. There's quite a few little bumps and crenellations in it. The sculpting tool, the terrain tools, I'm getting used to them. Like right here, big bump right there. You can see it. Maybe you can. I don't know if the perspective shows it, but big bump right there. I need to smooth all this out. I will in time, but for now, I just wanted to turn these back into, this is a grass field again. And this always was a grass field. It's got some weeds growing in it because I had to do a little cleanup. You know, when you use the terrain sculpting tool, it takes it down to the green grass spray paint texture. And then you can paint in meadow grass, but you cannot paint in crop grass. And I wanted crop grass because I wanted the fertilizer bonuses on it. So what you need to do then is get a plow, which we have right over here. You have to get a plow. You have to use the Create Fields select, right? Plow it, make it earth again, and then plant crop grass on it rather than meadow grass. So here's our little Lemkin 5-row plow that we got. So I did all that, and when I did it, even though the field across the passage was already crop grass, as we sculpted, it turned it into that spray paint texture. So it was crop grass, then it became not crop grass, and I had to make it crop grass again. There you go. That is what is going on with the farm. So I'm getting the hang of the terrain tools. I am not the biggest fan, and I feel like in some ways this game is early access, but it can't be early access because Giants releases a new farm sim every 2 years, right? So you see what I mean? It is what it is, and I'm going to be positive. I'm going to try to continue to be positive, but it's in some ways the game is early access. There are a lot of features that I feel will not be fully ready for retail until about the 1.5 patch. And you know what? It is what it is. It's our farm sim. Nothing we can do about it. So this is from FS19. Might even be from 15, but this is a mod somebody made. I found it somewhere. And this is going to be, it's the smallest, I want to say just about the smallest combine harvester you can get for the game that isn't something like the Bison. And I like it. I think it suits the map. It's a German brand. We duck down under the rafter here. There we go. It's a German brand. I think it suits the map, and I love that it's the smallest combine harvester, and you can get it around for the most part without a header trailer. Oh, by the way, we're going across the highway to harvest oats. So I like that about it. And we're going to be very careful here because I don't want to snag bushes on the left or fence posts on the right. You know how I do. Now, I have been saying, as we've been getting our arable field across the highway going, I have been saying repeatedly, there's two reasons I want to do this. We need oats for our horses, and we need straw for our horses and our dairy. And then I just remembered, I don't even know if oats make straw. They might, but I can't say for sure. We'll find out momentarily. If not, we will at the very least have oats for our horses, and we'll just continue buying straw bales until we get, I mean, we could put another crop in here. We could put barley or something in. And I do have enough bales down at the dairy that we could probably make it until we bring in, right? If we're not able to do that, can do that. If we're not able to get straw out of these oats, we would be able to survive until we can get some barley planted. We might not even have to buy straw bales, is what I'm saying. Right, so let's hop back in here. I'm going to do a couple of things, and then we're going to do one headland and see how she goes. So first thing I'm going to do is go up here, right here. Oh, you know what? Let me do one other thing first. Nope. That is not what I wanted at all. Let me do that. Let me come back here and do that. And then that's what we want. Disable straw swath? No, we want it enabled. Right. So if it is possible to make straw from oats, we're gonna have that teed up when we get there. Lights back on. Carefully. And I did test this earlier when I brought it up here from the store, just to confirm that we can fit it through the gate. And we can fit it through the gate, by the slimmest of margins, but we can fit it through the gate. Good on us. Right. Back here. A little bit more. Give it a little bit more. There you go. We're going to go right in here. Now, I guess, I don't know if you would do this. We're not really teed up. You know what I mean? We're not really teed up, and yet I feel like the best way to not lose any crop is to just start from here. I don't know. It feels weird to be harvesting when we're not even through the gate. So it goes. We do this. We do this. And here we go. Watching the tail whip. Yeah, it's looking like... Okay. Underneath all that, it's looking like, yeah, we do have some straw. Once the dust clears, easy Pete's. Okay, so let's slow down the cruise control, and let's do one headland and see how she goes. I want to see how we do on volume also, as far as how quickly this thing fills up. And I assume we'll be able to make one full headland. Now I went to the right. I went anti-clockwise because of the position of the gate. But when we get around here after our first headland, I will flip it around and we'll go, for our next headland, we will go clockwise, so we have the pipe on the right side. Yep. Working good so far. And we are, yeah, I think we're going to easily be able to make one headland. So then we'll run across the highway, grab our little Deutz-Fahr Clearview, get a tipper on it, come back over and empty this thing. Or, you know what? Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. I will, so we're not driving all over our straw. You want to grab the baler and make some bales? Yeah, maybe we could do that. Make some bales. And because it's a round baler, we can drop them where we want. Maybe make some bales so we get the straw from that headland up off the field and we're not driving back and forth over it. Yeah, let's do that instead. Let's do that instead. Now I gotta be careful here because we're on the very edge of the map, and if I pivot over too far, you are gonna get a full-on Truman Show kind of view. You know what I'm saying? Truman Show. But that is, as good as this map is, you know, when I see something like that, I have to recognize that as just the limitations of the game. You know, that's not, I don't fault the map maker for that at all. Oh, that's nice. That's nice with the sun coming up on look how big that thing is. Good grief. Sun coming up over the farm. In fact, moment. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's we have a hide HUD. We do. Left Alt 1. Left Alt 1, I said. I said left Alt 1. There we go. Beautiful. Is that anything? That's maybe something. Cool. I don't know. Maybe we'll do another one. I'm not Not super pleased with that. HUD back on. Drop the header. Break off. Here we go. So yeah, when I see things like that on a map, I don't fault the map maker at all. I can't imagine how difficult it is to make a map at all, let alone a good map. And the game just has limitations. You can only do so much. And when you get near the edges of a map, that's the kind of thing you get. Unless, yeah, I would describe this as a full card map, right out to the edges of the area. I know there's some things you can do where you actually make the map. You make the map borders sort of full card, but then you make your part of the map much smaller in the middle, so you can have some 3D action going out on the distant horizon, even though there are invisible barriers preventing you as a player. Oh, turn radius. Preventing you as a player from actually getting out that far on the map. Those things are still sort of out there on the far horizon, and it gives a great perspective, gives a great illusion of depth and size, So, but that's trade-offs. Trade-offs. Everything's a trade-off in life. This I know. Right, so I'm going to hop out here, close the gate, so we can get these oats on the edge of the field. And yeah, let's think how we want to do this, because we've got grain in the tank right now. We can't make it around a second headland. We're over 50%. I'm trying to think where we can put this momentarily. Let's do this. Let's back up. Set the brake. Let's go get our warrior, put the baler on it, clear out some straw in the headland, make some room, right? And then we can pull our combine harvester down to the fence, and I believe there'll be enough room alongside it to then get a tipper under it and empty it, so we can create a second headland and repeat that process. Does that make sense? I think it does. I think it does. You know what? In my head, everything always makes sense. But then when I actually try to do it, it's like, no, that's a terrible idea. But at the time, momentarily, it's fantastic. Right. The warrior. Break off. Lights on. Here we go. And I think the last time I used this baler, I did not, when it was full, or when we dropped our last bale, I don't think I picked anything up after that. So it's possible that this is completely empty. And it is fantastic. So what that means is we will not have a grass bale or a hay bale eject from what's been sitting in there. I always thought that was a detail they could, or a mod maker could, sort out for us, that if you had 300 liters of hay or grass or something in there, that you could get rid of it, not even as a bale, just make it disappear, so that you did not have that odd bale spit out the next time you harvested, or harvested? What would you call it? Baled, I guess. The next time you baled a different fill type. That makes sense? I think it did. I think it did, right. Of course, we have to back up here because of the angle of the gate. Not a big deal. Now this field is fertilized, weeded, limed, plowed, everything. So we have a full 200% yield. Oh, it's tricky backing this thing up. Why is it so tricky? Opposite lock. Working me. We got it. We got it. Beautiful. So put her in gear. Unfold. Here we go. Watching our little seedling over here on the left. Don't break anything. There we go. Carefully. Got it. So I don't know how many bales we're going to get out of this field. A dozen would be perfect if we got a dozen. And I would probably take 8 of those down to the dairy farm and leave 4 here. Maybe less. Maybe take 10 down, leave 2. You know, I've been thinking about the horses. I don't know if the value of the horses, they're up to over 40,000 euro a piece, and we have 5 of them. I don't know if that is scripted in by the map maker. I don't know if it is a result of the horse, is it the horse helper mod? There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Or if it's something in the 1.3 patch, that the horses are so valuable when you ride them now. I imagine Giants probably got some grief about those horses because they're kind of silly, and I don't know why they put them in the game. So I'm curious if they OP'd them in patch 1.3. I don't even know if that's where it's coming from. Like I said, could be the map maker, could be the mod, the horse helper mod, could be Giants. But if Giants did OP them in the 1.3 patch, I would have to think it's because people gave them so much crap about putting horses in the game at all, or at least putting them in the way that they did, which was, in my opinion, kind of silly. Kind of silly. Here's our first dilemma. What do we do with this bale? I'm tempted to... I mean, I don't want to drop it here because it's just going to roll backwards into the fence. Oh, you know what we can do? Right. It's going to put it right back there. And then once that closes, we can... Yeah, we'll just drop them both up here at the top. You see what I'm trying to do. Have them out of the way and not rolling around and, you know, loose in the wild. But I think I can drop 2 right up here at the top of the field. And then hopefully we'll be able to get the rest of the way around. And then I can take that one down and actually possibly even drop it down below, down near its little friend right there. So we'll have 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. Maybe. Maybe. So, right. We'll get this done. And then last thing we'll do a couple more headlands, and then last thing we'll do is go grab the clear view. So drop that. We drop that. Beautiful. It's all going according to plan. So we'll go grab the clear view and our new little Stroughton and tipper, and we'll get this combine harvester emptied out. And yeah, I would say this is actually going pretty well. You know, I never have a plan when I start these videos. I have a plan in the broad strokes. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what I'm going to do. And the thing about Farm Sim is there's always so many unexpected developments, even at the best of times, that you're sort of solving problems. And that is one of my favorite things about the sim. You know, when I think about my favorite sims, which are Farm Sim and the Truck Sims, at least let me clarify. All right, I'm going to set the brake. Right, I'm going to set the brake. I'm going to come down here and move this thing out of the way. Let me close the gate first. Right. Brake is off. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Okay. Now I have a plan. So we go back here. We fire this thing up again. And now, yeah. Drop the header. There we go. There we go. So now... Beautiful. I think right about there ought to do it. So lift the header. Turn this thing off. Back it up. And I think this ought to give us plenty of room to get a cart in. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so once again, set the brake. And I believe, let's leave the gate closed for a minute. So I would have to think a racing sim would also be a contender if I could only have one sim ever, but they're different kinds of sims. I think because racing in real life is a competitive sport, then a racing sim in sim gaming, realistic as it may be, and I think iRacing is the most realistic race sim that I've ever been on, realistic as a race sim may be, because it's got that competitive aspect in real life, it's also sort of a video game. Right? Does that make sense? I think it does. So farming and trucking in real life, neither of them are competitive, and so in that way they are kind of the opposite. Let me get my pickup up here. I just realized I had that still down. And we drop that. Beautiful. So pull this up here, set the brake, and out we go. And I guess that's the difference for me. Is something like Farm Sim, something like Truck Sim can only ever be a simulation because there's no competitive aspect to it. It can't ever be a game. So if I only had to pick one sim, I don't know, maybe I'd want one pure sim and one sim game. I don't know. You see what I'm getting at. But oh man, where's there it is right there. But it still fascinates me that, you know, as many problems as there are to solve in Farm Sim, you know, one of the aspects of it that never gets old is every time you play it, it's like, I don't want to say something goes wrong, but every time you play it, there's a problem to solve. And I think that is very much a kind of a real world take on gaming. And the difference between Truck Sim and Farm Sim is in Farm Sim, there's always some problem to solve. And in Truck Sim, there sort of isn't, if that makes sense. You know, in Truck Sim, you get hooked up and then you just drive. You just drive. And there's really not a lot to think about. It's very hypnotic. It's very relaxing. And you may have to navigate a little bit. In some of the new patches, there are the random road closures and detours. You know, you got to sort that stuff out. But it's never... it's just not the same, I guess, is the best way to say it. It's just different in Farm Sim. It's problem solving, and I like that. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. All right, so this will be our last time. We need to back up the passage. I like this for some reason. I don't know what it is about this little sort of trick of the geometry of the map that you can't quite get through that field. I mean, that's not accidental. Although, well, the map maker says this is based on a real place. So for all I know, in real life, that's where that gate really is. But they could just as easily have put another gate further down on the main road there, and you could just pull out of your farm passage and onto that other gate, or through that other gate, I guess. But they didn't do it that way, so it's like a little detail, a little problem to solve. There you go. That's what I was just talking about. A little problem to solve, and that makes the game, to me, very realistic and very organic and just kind of flowy. You know, for all the complaining that I do about Farm Sim, my complaining is mostly about, golly, that unloaded fast. For all my complaining about Farm Sim, my complaining is mostly about giants and what they do with the game rather than the sim itself. Because, I mean, the sim is... lights off. There we go. The sim is giants. Is that the way we want to say it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, everything that's in the sim, giants put there. So if there's a problem, if there's ever anything wrong, you know who to blame. Right, let's do, where are we at on time? We've been going for a while. Let's do one more headland. I'm enjoying this. Let's do one more headland, and maybe we'll bail that and then we'll call it. Yeah, okay. So we fire this up. And I do have the manual. It's done that twice now where it's sort of turned at a... You seeing that? It's looking like the header is kind of floating up there. I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting. Huh. Well, no mod is perfect. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. Now it looks like it's kind of sliding back and forth. Interesting. Is that a thing you have in real life? Is there ever any float on a header? I don't think so. I feel like they're pretty firmly connected. You know, the interface to the combine itself does not have a lot of play in it. All right. We will explore. We will explore. Although, I don't know. Is there float? Now I'm curious. I feel like... Sorry. Bear with me, folks. OCD is kicking in. Yeah. Because there's a linkage that comes down, right? Receiver, you could call it. A tongue, I don't know. That comes down from the body of the harvester. And that's where the coupling is to the header. But I don't know if that linkage can ever float. Right? That would allow some relative movement between the header and the body of the combine. But it's not the header that's moving on the coupling, it's the linkage itself that's moving under the combine. I don't know. If it's supposed to be that way, I think it's awesome. If it's just kind of floating because there's a little screwy business in the mod, then that's going to bug me. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. In the meantime, though, I'm pleased with this combine. I think it's the perfect size for this map because we're doing so little arable farming. You know, I think it's just right. In fact, no, I'll leave it. I gotta sort out my thumbnail. I feel like there's some potential here. We've got so many pieces of equipment in this field, and we've got the sunrise. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this could be it, but at the same time, it's not quite working somehow. No worries. It's a Friday. We're farming. The weekend is here. Everything is awesome. It really is. Right. I'm not going to make the turn up here. I'm actually going to do a little reversal and square this corner off. And then when we get down below near the cart, I think we can probably call it down there because we'll have two headlands. As tiny as this harvester is, you think we can make that turn? You know what I'm saying? You think we've cut enough headland in there that we can make that turn? Maybe. We'll see. I'll do it off camera anyway, so it's moot. All right, and we'll do the same thing down here. We'll square this one off. And I think that's us done, at least as far as the video is concerned. And then I'll just knock this out off camera. There's not a whole lot to go. Let's do this. Right down here. Back it up. There you go. And then right down here. Beautiful. And I know this is kind of an arbitrary place to stop. We could just as easily have stopped when we made our turn back there just a bit ago. So, drive over our straw. And I think, yeah, shut that off. Set the brake. I think that's us done. Is that any better? Maybe down here. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think of something. Let's just stop it right there. That might work. There you go, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19. This is the Holzer map. We'll see you next time. Take care now.